Former Giants kicker Lawrence Tynes with Armin and Levac on 104.5 The Team. And Lawrence, you went viral this week as you now live in Kansas City with your family, and you tweeted out during the Monday Night Football game in regards to Alex Smith, quote, "I'm done with the check down master." You're just done with Alex Smith as the Chiefs quarterback, huh?
A little bit. I just get frustrated. I'm a Chiefs fan. It was my first opportunity to play in the NFL. Was with the Chiefs. Gave me my first start in the business. So I'm still a fan. I still have friends that I played with on that team. Dustin Coughlin, Derek Johnson, Tom Coughlin. So I pull for them anytime I see them on TV. And I just, at this point, I was frustrated, and I'm just sick of the 2- and 3-yard passes when they have an arsenal with Kelsey and Macklin. And we've all seen what Macklin can do when he played with the Eagles. I've seen it from the sidelines. So when you got weapons like that, I just think you got to be able to get the ball down the field.
Lawrence, I mean, being a kicker and being on a team that had great defenses, the game manager quarterback is almost in vogue. Is Alex Smith below a game manager with his checkdowns?
No. I mean, listen, he's got decent numbers, but what the glaring number that sticks out is 4 or 5 300-yard passing games in this day and age and over 100 starts. I mean, that's insane. I mean, with the rules benefiting all the receivers and all the offensive rules that are advantage offense, 4 300-yard games and over 100 career starts.
Yeah. And the streak of not hitting a wide receiver in the end zone until this past Monday.
18 regular season games.
Since 2013. That's insane.
And listen, I want to be clear, though. I'm not attacking Alex. I don't know Alex, but from a quarterback standpoint and what's happened over the last 5 or 6 years, I mean, I've seen it. I saw it in the NFC Championship. I've seen it here. I'm not the only one that thinks like that. I just was the only one that probably tweeted about it.
No, I'm with you. I mean, we bash Alex Smith on a regular basis with his, lack of ability to go down the field. I mean, it's obvious, and we obviously don't know him either. So do you think Chase Daniel, it's worth throwing him in there as a backup and just seeing what he's got at this point in Kansas City?
Yeah, and Andy Reid's, he'll do that. He did it in Philly. He wasn't scared to make a quarterback change, but obviously there's a financial obligation to Alex that says he's the starter, but we've seen Chase in action. I mean, I think one that sticks out is last year against the Chargers. The Chargers win that game, they're going to the playoffs, and he beat them. And he didn't do it by himself, but I just like the way he plays. He played behind Drew Brees for a number of years. He's a shorter quarterback, but he slings the ball all over the place, and he gets the ball down the field, down the seams. I kind of like his game. I mean, it's not going to hurt to see him for a couple of weeks at this point.
Do you think that he makes the Chiefs contenders, or are you already kind of just throwing a shovel of dirt on them?
Chase?
Yeah.
I can't make that assessment. I mean, I think he's only started 2 games, but I just think at this point in time, you just got to give it a shot. I mean, let him get some time with Macklin. I believe they played in college together. It's a different league. It's not the Big 12 or SEC, whatever they played in, but I still think there's just an opportunity for him to say, you know what, just shut all his fans up and show us one way or the other whether he can do it or not. I mean, the backup quarterback is always the most popular guy on the team.
There are pretty high expectations from the Chiefs this year. They still have time to hit those?
Yeah, I believe so. I don't think anyone's, Denver's defense is stingy. We've seen that, but I like, Tamba and Houston and some of the linebackers they have with Derek Johnson, and they're a good team, and I think that's what's so frustrating in this area for the fan base. And I live around 100 Chiefs fans. I got coaches that live behind me. So I just want to see them do well. I mean, there's no place like Arrowhead Stadium. I mean, I don't know if you guys have ever been to a game there, but these fans are passionate, and I think they deserve a winner.
2-time Super Bowl winning champion Lawrence Tynes, former kicker of the New York Giants, and Lawrence Steve Weatherford this year gets cut before the season begins. Your reaction when you heard that news?
Yeah, I was saddened. I mean, Steve's a great friend of mine. We have a personal relationship, obviously, and shared a lot of fun and success together, and know his family. It's a tough business, man, and sometimes it's financial, sometimes it's performance. But I hope Steve bounces back and catches on. But the one thing you can't take away from Steve Weatherford is the things he does off the field, and I think that's something he loves doing. If you don't follow him on Twitter or Instagram, I mean, I don't know where the guy gets time to sleep. I mean, he's always doing a charitable event and helping people, and I think that says a lot about him. But I don't know. We'll see what happens with Steve. I mean, I think if a team that's contending has an issue at punter, I mean, he's your guy. I don't think Steve goes to a team that's not in the hunt. I mean, he's got big game experience, and we all know how much fun he is. So I wouldn't say I'm surprised because it's the NFL. You just never know. But I was kind of sad to see that happen.
Lawrence, as a former Giant, what are your thoughts on JPP and his situation?
That's sad. He's a great kid. I mean, I loved him the time I spent with him. I think everyone loves him. It's just one of those unfortunate incidences where 2 seconds can ruin your life, and it looks like that's what happened. I'm not a defensive end, but I would imagine you need a full thumb and your fingers to be successful, and we'll see. JPP is a fighter. He's a great kid. I hope he can come back. But I saw the pictures just like everybody else of his hand on the Daily News or whatever news outlet it was, and it doesn't look good. But I wouldn't bet against JPP. He's overcome a lot of odds to get where he is, and even if he's just a third down guy, I think you just rush the passer. Maybe that's where he fits in sometime down the road. But I hope he comes back, man. He's a great kid.
Lawrence, as a former Giant, are you disappointed with how he's handled the situation? Didn't have communication with him, won't sign the contract to be with the team?
No, I'm always on the player side. So however he wanted to handle it, there's a bunch of stuff that goes on in those contract negotiations, and yeah, would he have gotten a little bit probably better care initially? I still don't think it brings back his fingers. So I just think that I always take the player side, so I'm not going to argue with what JPP did.
Lawrence Tynes, former Giants kicker with Armin and Levac, at LT4K Kicks on Twitter. Coach Tom Coughlin, 69 years old. What do you see when you see him on the sidelines during a game?
The same Tom. I mean, he's the most competitive man I have ever been around. He is the ultimate leader by example, the most consistent man I've ever been around. You see him the end of the game the other night. I know the game was kind of in hand, but when they gave up that kickoff return, I was like, I would have hid from him. He is, and I don't think they finished like they wanted to. I think the game was great for 3 quarters, and then in the fourth quarter, they kind of had some of those same issues pop back up. So I love what Tom brings to the table. He's a great man and a great leader, but he's not slowing down. It's pretty wild. I mean, he's probably the most fit 70-year-old you ever been around.
Now, Lawrence, when you were a kicker for the Giants, you guys came to the Capital Region every summer for camp. What do you remember from here, when your time in Albany?
Loved it. And we just talked about that a little bit earlier before we came on air, but I missed it, and I still, I miss football every day. But camp was a time where the fans got to have an intimate kind of setting with the players. You walk down to practice, and there's lines of people asking for your autograph, and just meeting the families that come every year. You get to establish relationships with a lot of the people that came every year. So I wish it would come back, man. I just think it's better for the fans to kind of be there and be around the players and be so close. And I think the players would tell you the same thing. I think it's more of a facility thing now, is where the players have more. They have better facilities at home, and I think that's why more teams. And plus, they're saving money.
Well, and it's funny because we talk to younger players, and they're all like, man, I like being close to home. I like being able to go to my hotel bed at night. It's like this new generation. This is what they got now. This is what they're growing up in,
Yeah, no, it's true, and I guess that's how. But I think you talk to a lot of the old school guys who enjoyed, playing cards at night and hanging out and maybe having a beer with a teammate. It was just I enjoyed that time with my teammates. It was just kind of a special time to get to know players that you didn't know and hang out. I just enjoyed it.
You like the new extra point rules?
Woo! It's changed football, that's for sure. I think we got 12 misses, I think, in the first 3 weeks.
Yeah, the percentages dropped. Yeah,
we're averaging about 4 a week, and I think this is I get this question every day. It seems like from neighbors and people. I think November and December on grass fields, so Cleveland, Chicago, any grass surface late in the season is going to be a bigger issue. The field conditions are more of an issue than the weather. So, you get into that 23-yard line where there's been a lot of snaps and it's a little chewed up. That's the big issue for guys as we get into these cold weather seasons. So it's going to be there's going to be a guy miss an extra point at the end of the game to tie it, and I hate that it's going to happen, but they've made the position harder for sure.
You glad you got it when you did then?
Yeah, no joke.
Listen, I enjoyed those moments. I mean, you got to have a couple of loose screws to play the position, I think, and I have several. So I would have enjoyed it. I would have loved the challenge. Listen, I'd love to still be playing.
Lawrence Tynes, former kicker of the Giants with Armin and Levac, on Twitter at LT4KKicks. And Lawrence, I see on your LinkedIn page, Senior Vice President of Wheels Up. Ooh, tell us about that, man.
Yeah.
SVP.
Almost a year. I'm a year there in November, or end of October. Wheels Up is a membership-based private aviation solution. It's the fastest private aviation solution, fastest growing in the country. Kenny Dichter is one of our leaders, and Bill Allard, and I just get to work with a bunch of great people. It's interesting how I got into it, but it was through friends in Wichita who were in the aviation department and said, you need to try and see if you can get on with Wheels Up. And man, I got a new set of teammates. We got 3 guys from the NFL that work for us. We got an All-American Team USA lacrosse player that works for us. We got a Team USA, former Team USA soccer. I mean, it's a cool company. It's a bunch of guys that are hungry and a startup. So I've enjoyed every second of it. Never knew anything about aviation until about 9 months ago. But I wake up every day charged and learn something new dealing with corporate America.
I think I can read between the lines here, and you're willing to take Armin and I to the Super Bowl this year on one of your jets.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah. Yes. If you guys say Wheels Up every day until between now and the Super Bowl, that might be worth it marketing-wise.
I'll start now. WheelsUp.com, WheelsUp.com.
It's honestly one of my crutches. Whenever I'm leaving someplace, I'm like, Wheels Up, people, let's go. So I'm in. Let's do this.
There you go.
We're on American Pharoah and some of the golfers, Kevin Kisner, Ricky Fowler. It's been cool. I get to deal with athletes. I still have several athletes in my book of business, so I'm still around the guys, some of the former NFL players, current NFL players that fly with us, so it's been a lot of fun.
Good stuff. Lawrence Tynes, former kicker of the Giants, on Twitter at LT4KKicks. You on Instagram too with the same one?
Yeah, Instagram's the same deal. So I enjoy, listen, good or bad, I love the comments. That's what it is. It's entertainment. So I encourage any and all.
Hey, man, we have Giants fans all the time talk about the good memories, and obviously you are a big part of that. So it was great talking to you today. Thanks for catching up with us.
Hey, thanks for the time.
And we look forward to the next time you tweet just randomly.
So organic, though. I'm just tweeting, and then it's amazing what it turns into, but it's not purposely done.